governor's president of the United States, we wouldn't have to have Gestapo tactics in the streets of Chicago.
Tonight I thank the city of Chicago, its great mayor, and its wonderful people for this magnificent conviction.
Those yippies that march on the amphitheater or go downtown or sit in restaurants or demand their rights, they'll be risking their life. That's right. These cops here are tough. They'd kill you with a smile. Shoot to kill daily, you know.
It was very, very well organized. People were lovely. The police were in top form. Everyone was very helpful. And it was exciting.
What should? 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 What should?
What's the purpose of the Festival of Life?
Well, the purpose was to have independent coalitions use this as an organizing campground to then stage certain events and have different performers come in the support of their issues. What we have here is that we're coming out of the 80s, although it's 96. And Ronald
It's taken a long time to come down from the 80s.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Ronald Reagan and that period of time was very oppressive. And what you have in oppressive is each individual seeks favor with the oppressor to get certain privileges. Now, through a lottery system, they divided all the protesters. So therefore, they all sought their individual agenda. Therefore, divided we fell. And our festival suffered because of that. We had very little turnout. You know, people wanted to go to their own individualistic march, have their own individualistic thing done, and so therefore the Festival of Life kind of flopped in that respect.
My name is Jenny Kay. I'm a Chicago stand-up comedian, and I am running for President of the United States. I just felt that I couldn't do anything. I felt that politics was taken over by people with a lot of money and a lot of power, and no one could do anything. I kind of threw my hands up, and I lost interest. But as I started running and I started learning more about it, it's become interesting. And I watch the History Channel, I watch PBS on a Saturday night, and it's surprising. I'm usually out partying.
I'm just standing. What's going on here?
This is a creative art piece that I've set up for anybody who wants to be creative, because I believe it's important for people to be creative these days. This is just an old sheet. And what you could do is, if you got children, take an old sheet and set it up in their bedroom and let them draw on it, and then save it for them. So 20 years down the road, they can look back at an art piece that they got. And it's cheap, it don't cost but a couple bucks.
You know Bill's arriving in town tonight. Are you going to try to get him when he comes to the hotel?
Oh, no, I'm not worried about the political people. Let them have their way. You know, let them do what they want to do. Me, my importance is these people, the people out here, the regular Joes. Give them a chance to be creative, and they will. They will.
Jenny Kay, so you will be on the ballot, though?
Well, no, I won't be on the ballot. I'll be a write-in. You have to get 25,000 signatures to get on the ballot.
You think you do a good, honest job, equal opportunity job, just as well as Clinton or Dole?
I do believe that. Like I said, if you're going to throw your vote away, throw it for Jenny Kay.
Well, what then is the answer? What is there for us to do? Is the big finger the answer?
I'm trying to say, you know, come on. That's the first step to change is getting angry enough to turn the television off and get up and get out here. You know, people got to get off their ass.
So this is for all of us then, isn't it? It's not just the people out there. You're really for all of us.
I don't think it's fair to put a face to the blame. Like, you can't sit there and go, you know, give this finger to any one person necessarily, because there's so much more behind what that person is saying these days anyway. They're elected representatives. We shape them, you know.
Very good. You're mad, you're articulate, and you're erect. What more could you ask for? I'm guessing, based on the sign, that you are Dan Martino.
Yes, I am Dan Martino, the write-in pro-life candidate for President of the United States.
And Dan, for how long have you been a write-in candidate?
Just the last 2 days.
And what happened to you?
It just hit me. I said, man, I've been involved in pro-life work for about 9 years, going to the Supreme Court when abortion cases are argued. And I believe that we really need a true-cut, clean choice in America.
We will not go back. We will not go back.
I have prayed for Justice Harry Blackmun. I said to him, I said, sir, I am praying for you. Just say no to abortion and let the babies live.
We will not allow women to go to and have back alley butchering abortions. We will not lose another woman's life to an illegal abortion. We will not go back.
Where exactly were you? What exactly was going on when this epiphany came to you that after 9 years involved in the pro-life movement, that you should be running for president?
God just hit me and said, wow, hey, you can do something. And I have a basic philosophy of life. It's better to light one candle than to curse the darkness. I mean, and there's a whole lot of darkness around.
Keep the choice yours. Keep the choice yours. Keep the choice yours.
Life, yes. Abortion, no. Relinquish has to go. Life, yes. Abortion, no.
Well, we're from People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. We're advocating an excise tax on meat. So just like there are excise taxes on tobacco and alcohol, we think there needs to be one on meat.
How successful a forum for this message is this?
Well, it's not as successful as San Diego, I think primarily because we can't get anywhere near the convention center. It's absolute lunacy that the Democratic Party, the party that just, 8 years ago, we had the Republicans saying, Michael Dukakis is a card-carrying member of the ACLU. Well, then we go to 8 years later, we go to the Republican National Convention, boom, we're right at the convention center handing out leaflets. We come to the Democratic Convention, the ACLU party, and we can't get within a quarter mile of the place. It's really quite amazing.
And what do you attribute that to?
I'm not sure what to attribute it to. I'm told to attribute it to Chicago rather than attributing it to the parties.
You mean Chicago generically, or Chicago in the wake of '68 and maybe a little paranoia?
Well, I think probably all of that would go into it. But I'm not sure what to think. It really seems to me that the Democrats should have been wary of this if they want to retain any kind of label of having anything to do with the Constitution and the First Amendment and civil liberties, and they seem to be uninterested in that, at least as far as this convention is concerned.
You were mentioning earlier, we were taking a look at the protesters over there. There's one person on the stage and there's one person watching. What do you account for the miserable turnout?
Well, fear of Big Brother watching, essentially, because in the 60s, they weren't worried too much about that because they weren't as sophisticated. Now we have a stealth bomber that can find a pin in Central Park. So that's why people last night when they were protesting were wearing masks and protecting their identities when they have causes for whether it's liberate Puerto Rico or any other issue that these people brought.
Because the Republicans know how to, I think, conduct a more hospitable convention that is less like a police state. And this is not the way to win friends and influence people.
As it is now, they act more like stormtroopers from Nazi Germany than they do our government.
I could have been Queen Elizabeth, and they would have given me the same rude treatment. That's unfortunate.
Watch choice, watch choice.
Good job, Chicago Police.
They want someone in that Oval Office who will rubber stamp their plan. That's why they want to replace Bill Clinton. But we won't let them. They want a president who will appoint the next 3 justices of the Supreme Court so they can control all 3 branches of government and take away a woman's right to choose. That's why they want to replace Bill Clinton. But we won't let them.
Awesome. Al Gore had one of the best speeches I have heard in my life, honest to God.
It was beautiful. It just got to rush through my body.
Mr. Gore is a very fine speaker.
I think he's improved his speaking abilities, that's for sure, over 4 years.
The president's opponent, Senator Bob Dole, is a good and decent man.
Jenny, why do people love Dole?
Why? Because he's cute and he's short and he's tiny and he's non-threatening.
I thought Al Gore was great.
What made him great?
His speech, I was very touched by what he said about his sister.
My sister Nancy was older than me. There were only the two of us, and I loved her more than life itself. She started smoking when she was 13 years old, but years later the cigarettes had taken their toll.
Reaction?
That was great.
No. Tobacco being classified as a drug.
Every American family, I think, has been touched by people who have died of cancer from being hooked on smoking.
Believe me, my mom has emphysema and is 88 years old, has bad emphysema, and cannot quit smoking.
Tomorrow morning, another 13-year-old girl will start smoking. I love her too.
No one has really had a very touching or very dramatic speech, and I think we need more of that.
3,000 young people in America will start smoking tomorrow.
It is a drug.
Good, bad, ugly?
It's a bad drug. I wish I didn't smoke.
Well, stop it then.
I'm trying.
All right.
Well, I think it is important to get tobacco advertising to lessen it.
Okay.
And then I was very inspired by Al Gore's speech about that, about his family's interest with that. And
but not inspired enough to not light up right now, huh?
Well.
Observations on the convention?
Yeah, we're here from the Unabomber Writing Campaign, and we were in there campaigning, particularly with the press, directly with the press.
Oh, it's going to be
it's
going to be tough for him to run the country. And what do you think of the big bambooey?
The big bambooey?
Bill.
Oh, Bill. Is that who you're talking about?
Yes, I am.
Yes, well, I'm here. I think he should be president, and I don't think he'll have any trouble.
Thank you for your nomination. I don't know if I can find a fancy way to say this, but I accept. Thank you. Four days ago, as you were making your way here, I began a train ride to make my way to Chicago through America's heartland. I wanted to see the faces. I wanted to hear the voices of the people for whom I have worked and fought these last 4 years. And did I ever see them?
And tell us who you are.
I'm Jane Doe.
And Jane, why are you here?
I am here to protest lawyers in government, in the legislative and executive branches of government, to be specific.
I'd just like to say hello to all the lowriders out there and tell them, vote for Willie.
I would not have missed that trip for all the world. For that trip showed me that hope is back in America. We are on the right track to the 21st century.
Church of Euthanasia is the world's leading advocate of voluntary population reduction. We believe that that the humans will need to voluntarily reduce their population to avoid total environmental catastrophe. So every one of our members takes a lifetime vow to not procreate.
Is a little sex okay?
We are making our democracy work.
This is the next president of the United States.
1996 Democratic National Convention in 25 words or less.
It's a great convention.
Wow. That's 4. 5 words to describe Bill Clinton.
Magnificent.
It was fun.
Is this your first convention?
Yeah.
Alien? No, doll.
Creative.
Our children should grow up next to parks, not poison.
What do you think about the Democratic Party on family values?
It is perfect.
Well, or value families.
Democrats on family values. We invented family values, especially us African Americans, okay? They can't lay claim to that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We are on the right track to the 21st century. We are on the right track, but our work is not finished. What should we do?
What do you think about Democrats who criticize him and say he's just a Republican masquerading as a Democrat?
Let me say this. If you recall, he took a lot of criticism that he was an old-time Democrat, old-line Democrat. Okay, that's on Monday of this week. On Tuesday of the next week, the Republicans call him, he's a Republican. He sounds just like us. Now, you can't be an old-line Democrat and at the same time be a Republican sounding like us. He's changing. He's coming to the center. But he's coming to the center. Now they don't like it because he's a better salesman than any Republican that I know, with the exception of maybe Ronald Reagan. Okay, but he was an actor. He had the training for it.
Intelligent.
Observations on the convention.
Oh, it was wonderful.
It was just great.
It was beautiful, really great.
4 days of opportunity, responsibility, and community.
Observations on the convention?
Great entertainment.
There's a lot of excitement going on in there.
So it's okay just to be a big old infomercial?
Oh, no. I think I like this style. I like the format. I like the made-for-TV conventions.
You know, something about tonight is, as much as I might complain as others, this was educational. This is what politics should be about.
One more party, 4 more beers.
How come you guys get to keep the sign?
Because it's our sign, yeah.
Well, I've seen this is maybe the 6th or 7th person from Arkansas, but you're the first one who's got the state sign.
We're the ones that knew how to take it down. Okay?
That was one hell of a party.
Free beer for all the workers.
You weren't paying attention in there, were you? You were partying, weren't you?
I was watching the balloons.
Aha, so that's what the conventions are all about?
Yep, party. Bye-bye. Goodbye, Democrats. Hello, Republicans.
So while I may get impatient sometimes with President Clinton's longevity, what's wrong with talking about what someone ought to do in great detail?
Is this the end of conventions as we know it?
I think it's the beginning. I mean, it's a great show.
I think the days of the back, the smoke-filled room conventions are gone.
Yeah, so instead we have balloon-filled rooms.
Sure.
Do you think this is the end of conventions as we know them?
Yeah, I do.
No. I mean, nobody coming out of this convention is ever going to say that. I mean, it's...
Oh, you'd be surprised. Do you think this is the end of conventions as we know it?
Actually, I do.
Why?
I think there were some sound bites here. I don't know if there's any way around that. I think the American attention span has shortened over the last 20 years, and being a teacher, I have been fighting that day in and day out.
I don't know whether it's the convention itself, but there ought to be a way to discuss this stuff in prime time so citizens hear the nitty-gritty rather than the 30-second slogans.
Tonight, let us resolve to build that bridge to the 21st century. We do not need to build a bridge to the past. We need to build a bridge to cross that bridge. I want to build a bridge. If we're going to build that bridge, I want to build a bridge. I want to build a bridge. I'm building that bridge to rise up and build the bridge we know we ought to build to the 21st century, to the 21st century, to the 21st century, 21st century, 21st century, century. Let me say one last time.
Most important thing is said, bridge to the 21st century.
We can only build our bridge to the 21st century if we build it together.